All right, everybody. John here, back once again to talk to you about some of the trending articles in the crypto news space. What a beautiful day it was today. Maybe. Hopefully, it's as nice by you as it was by me. But before I go off on a tangent, thanks to all those who have subscribed. I really do appreciate it. You have no idea what it means to me and to this channel, wherever you found me. And as always, there's a link down in the description that you can follow to check out all the articles I talked about today. Please, pop down there, take a look, do your own research. But let's get into things. So, first article up is talking about the BAND Protocol and the role they may or may not have played in the origins of SushiSwap, which, for those of you who don't know, is a clone of Uniswap that also added a SushiSwap token on top of it that has exploded in price and has had some pretty massive price swings. BAND Protocol is a competitor to Chainlink. They both offer decentralized Oracle solutions. So a competitor to Chainlink, a competitor to Uniswap. I can actually kind of see the logic people are following on this, and they actually have some pretty good reasons down this article. But at the end of the day, I don't think BAND Protocol or the person they think may be the person responsible for BAND Protocol is. We'll get into that. So some have focused on the current maintainer of the project, Sam Bankman-Fried, who Chef Nomi, the now infamous creator of SushiSwap, handed control over to after he cashed out $12 million worth of his own coin, which would make sense. He cashes out, he flees, and then he gives it to himself to, then run. I can kind of see it. I see the logic behind a lot of these things, but unfortunately, I don't think any of them are true. I think if we ever find out who Chef Nomi is, we're all going to be very surprised. So Sam Bankman-Fried is the CEO of FTX. Others were thinking that BAND's chief technology officer, Sorawit Suryakarn, was the person behind this project. The evidence cited primarily involved the sushiswap.org domain, which is provably shown to be hosted on the same IP address as BAND Protocol's website. So the CEO of BAND and Cointelegraph had a little conversation. The CEO of BAND is Soravis Sirnawakun. He said the evidence, while it does make sense, is a little bit misleading, and he went through a few different things. He did concede that Suryakarn was approached by Chef Nomi for a code review. Suryakarn did provide such a review to make sure no one lost any money. Makes sense. I'd do that. He went on to explain that the IP addresses are indeed the same because both websites are hosted on Render. So they use the same hosting website. He said that, this person participated in auditing the code for SushiSwap because BAND might be used on it, and they thought it would directly benefit their own holders. So they kind of were like, well, this will be worth our time. Though to me, that says that Chef Nomi, while his real name has not been revealed, has some clout to be able to talk to these people. And that's just my thought on that. Other supposed evidence included similarities in the front-end code, which was used by both protocols, pointing to similar names for some style files that share a common scheme of main-chunk.css. Sirnawakun said this is specifically a result of both using the React framework, which is a pretty popular front-end development tool. So again, you have just the same hosting service, and they're using similar front-end tools. At this point, nothing that can really be pointed to a specific person, though the coincidences are kind of mounting up for BAND right here. Finally, some pointed out that the SSL certificate for both websites was issued by the same authority, called Let's Encrypt. This is once again common. Cointelegraph, which is the place that published this article, uses the exact same provider. Again, none of these things directly point to BAND Protocol or Miss or Mr. Suryakarn as the person who developed SushiSwap. but when all three line up, it kind of points in a similar direction. Though I would be interested to see what other crypto projects all also have these three same protocols being used by them. So a little bit of detective work going on by the internet's users. I see the logic behind it, but there's not enough proof. It wouldn't stand up in court. But hey, let's move on, talk about good old VeChain. So they're going to be attending a blockchain conference with Bosch and the EU Commission. Always nice to get up there with the EU. So the second Cyprus Blockchain Summit will take place digitally on September the 10th to discuss potential of technology and its impact on how companies do business. Summit's going to aim to discuss this potential for professionals in the banking sector, insurance, financial services, human resources, supply chain management, and others. It's going to be pretty robust. Got to do it digitally because good old COVID. Got to love it. Among the participants of the event are the companies VeChain, represented by Dimitrios Nikolios, the European Commission for Digital Innovation and Blockchain, the Robert Bosch Group, and the UK Blockchain Government Association, among others. So we got some big names going on there. VeChain and Bosch are going to share the second session. They'll talk about the practical applications of blockchain technology, with VeChain closing out the session with the presentation of VeChain Toolchain. Dimitrios Nikolios, Ecosystem Manager for VeChain, will present the following. How blockchain technology disrupts the healthcare industry by enhancing patient centricity, improving the trust and transparency between healthcare providers and patients. Not too bad of a presentation. Bit of an overarching view for a lot of these people. Again, VeChain, I really like what they're doing. Price dump that's been going on market-wide, notwithstanding. Getting into this, attending these conferences, being the voice, it increases your brand recognition, your name recognition. It helps the people. Mr. Dimitrios will be able to network a lot better because of this. They're ticking the boxes that they need to tick to develop as a blockchain company. I like it. But hey, let's hop on over, talk about TRON for a second. Good old Justin Sun, gotta love him, gotta hate him. He gave an update on the Sun token distribution. Just as a note, I have staked TRON to try to get a little bit of Sun, so we'll see. So he announced a new distribution program for the Sun token, concerning. And TRON Scan is registering $21 million allocated to TRON in their DeFi sector. Nice. That's almost double what it was before. In his latest announcement, good old Justin Sun has now informed the TRON community that there's a change in plans for the distribution of the Sun token. According to the announcement, the Sun token will be distributed before the originally planned date. So he's not pushing it back, he's pushing it up. Boy, I'm glad I got in when I did. As reported by Crypto News Flash, Sun and its sun.market platform, which will actually hop over to you here. It's sun.io. It's a nice little thing. You can see that about 7 million TRON, just over 7 million TRON has been staked. Quite nice. But its sun.market platform will allow its users to do yield farming. Since its launch, according to the data shared by TRON CEO from the platform TRON Scan, they've achieved a total of 21 million TRON locked, with 125,000 roughly active smart contracts and a total of 9.2 million accounts. Though how many of those are actually active accounts, I would want to see. Users who wish to obtain Sun have to log into the official website with their TRON Link wallet. Once they are there, they can do yield farming by staking a number of TRON. They can then receive Sun tokens in a quantity proportional to the TRON that they have staked. So they're currently doing the Genesis mining, in which 10% of the total is, roughly 10% is going to be mined. They're looking at a total supply as around 19.9 million, so just under 20 million, with about 1.86 being released for Genesis mining. With 7 million TRON staked, people, you get a little bit here and there. We'll see exactly how much each individual person gets. It's going to be kind of interesting. I do like that Justin's actually pushed it up. That bears better for those of us who got in early, because less people will have time to get in. but that's my personal opinion. So yeah, let's hop on over here and talk about MakerDAI. So yeah, oh boy, we got some interesting stuff. So MakerDAO governance proposal enacted on Tuesday set interest rates on most assets, the notable exception of Ethereum, back above 0%. This was done ideally, so most assets are now back to about 2%, which meaning the protocol is once again collecting revenue with those who borrow DAI against the assets. Lowering interest rates is generally seen as a way of stimulating DAI creation, which is supposed to lower its price below its $1 peg. For those who don't know, good old Maker, the DAI peg is designed to keep it at $1. It's not perfect, and as we know, the price finally stabilized after a long period of overpricing. The situation didn't last because of everything going on. As of press time, DAI is trading for $1.03. Almost 3 pennies above its intended price. The horror, the horror. One possible reason for this sudden depeg is the wider market tumble. So how does a market going down lead to a 3-cent price increase? Just as Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies began a steep decline on the 3rd, DAI supply went down while its price went up. The likely explanation for this is that borrowers and debt liquidators rushed to purchase DAI in order to keep the system over-collateralized. So in attempting to keep things from collapsing, they actually did too good of a job. Maker has yet to find a good way to entice arbitrageurs to bring the price down to $1. Several proposals based on pretty strong-handed market interventions are being talked about, while external observers often bring up the idea of setting negative interest rates. Wow, it's like watching the United States or any other government talk about what they're going to do. So yeah, Maker's got an interesting thing going on right now. Even a 0 interest rate wouldn't work, so now they're talking about going negative. Gotta love it. Keep an eye on it. I don't use DAI for precisely this reason. I prefer USDC personally, though I know it's got its own problems. Tether's a really popular option, but I dislike a lot of the negative news that was around them back in like 2018, 2019, but that doesn't mean they haven't fixed things. So keep an eye on your stable coins, I guess. That's all I got to say. So, DeFi. Let's talk about this. So, Ethereum's to lose is what people are saying about DeFi. A Crypto Compare survey of DeFi projects found more than 60% think Ethereum will be the dominant DeFi blockchain for the next 3 years at least. Though security is a top priority, and DeFi builders acknowledge that most of the existing traffic comes from speculation and not utility, which I think is going to be its biggest challenge going forward. Fees may be high and competitors may be gaining traction, but the top DeFi projects don't see Ethereum losing its industry dominance anytime soon. So the respondents who talked about all this fun stuff, they spoke with representatives from Balancer, Nexus, Kyber, Argent, DDEX, Loopring, Staked, and many others. Respondents weighed in on the importance of security for the growth of DeFi in the coming year. Half of those surveyed said security was a 10 out of 10 concern for the industry, with no respondent giving it less than an 8. Looks like they graded this on a scale of 1 to 10. There was, however, some disagreement on how best to protect the growing DeFi user base. 75% of respondents thought that outside regulation wouldn't be necessary for the industry to reach mainstream adoption. That is one of the selling points of DeFi, is it's hard to have regulation because it's a decentralized protocol. Who do you go to? Who do you go after? That's part of the problem. Furthermore, 40% thought it was of the utmost importance for DeFi protocols to offer insurance protection for potential loss of user funds. As a lot of others were like, yeah, that's the risk you take by doing this. A majority of those who surveyed guessed that between 10 and 30% of the value within DeFi protocols currently comes from everyday users compared to those seeking to get on the speculative income. We've actually talked about this on the channel before. This total value locked, or TVL, is hitting these record highs of like 6-7 billion. I actually haven't heard of an update in a while, so it might actually be the same or going down, so I'd check out that. But total value locked doesn't actually reflect the actual amount of money in the project, because people they'll take out a loan, and then they'll borrow against that loan, and then they'll borrow against that, and then they'll borrow against that. So the same dollar can be borrowed against 3 or 4 times to over leverage their position. So it looks like $4 was locked up, when in reality it's just the same dollar being locked up over and over again. So something to keep an eye on. But Ethereum, again, Ethereum phase 0 of their 2.0 needs to drop soon. But hey, let's hop over and talk about Brave for a second. They just added anti-phishing technology to their web browser. For those of you who don't know, Brave is a web browser based off of, I believe, the Chromium operating system, which is what Google Chrome runs off of. I actually use Brave for my everyday browsing. I rather like it. It's got really good ad blocks on it. I actually do use Google Chrome for recording my videos. As the extensions I like to use are more compatible with the base level of Chrome than they are with Brave. I've had some issues with trying to get Brave to work, particularly with like my highlighting tools and things like that. So I use Chrome for my cryptocurrency stuff, ironically, and I use Brave for my everyday stuff. But they've added this Fish Fort. It's an open source tech which detects Web3 phishing scams, which are on the rise and getting more sophisticated. So Brave is a privacy-centric web browser that blocks ad tracking and rewards its users with basic attention token. So basically, you do not see traditional ads. However, if you use Brave on your cell phone or on your computer, you will get notifications or ads sent to you by your own choosing, and you get paid for viewing those ads. That's quite nice. They award users with their basic attention token, or BAT. So Fishfort is an anti-phishing and brand protection firm that they've partnered with. It's actually already partnered with Binance Labs and My Ether Wallet, and it's been at the forefront of detecting and spreading the word about Web3 phishing scams, which are getting more and more sophisticated, both in crypto and in traditional life. When you're a crypto user, your username and password are only the start of your problems. Phishers are beginning to realize this. Fishfort wrote back in January. What's new about these attacks is that they're beginning to exploit the specific tools we use to interface with our crypto. They use a combination of urgency, fear of missing out, and fear of being negatively affected by a hard fork, an ICO, a token migration, or other thing, with the hopes that the targeted person will act quickly and never even notice they're interacting with malicious application. So anything that helps us as users stay up to date with the latest scams and keep us safe from these phishing things is a good idea, and I'm glad Brave's doing it. However, their announcement didn't go beyond a single tweet today, so the details are kind of thin, but the fact that they're doing it is pretty good. We imagine that frequent users of the increasingly popular browser, particularly those that interact with cryptocurrency and dApps, are likely to encounter it before too long. I do agree, and I'm very glad they're doing this, quite honestly. And then to finalize things, people are talking about Bitcoin. Oh, my highlighters went. So, we know that there's quite a dump, but is this actually kind of a bullish sign? So history actually suggests that Bitcoin's recent $2,000 drop is just ordinary. It could actually boost its price higher in the long term, going from 12K to 10K. Identical price developments have pumped it higher in the last bull market back in 2017. We had the ICOs back then. We've got DeFi right now. I'm seeing so many similarities, and I think if enough people are, it's kind of one of those things where because everyone believes it's going to happen, it happens because that's what we're expecting. As weird as that sounds, kind of like if you think you're going to get fired, you're more likely to get fired because you're in a negative headspace and you create the issue that leads to you losing your job. Something like that. Pulling that out of the air. Anyways, so after dumping below 3,700 during a massive sell-off in March, Bitcoin went on a roll. Primary cryptocurrency recovered its losses, and in a few months, the bulls took back control, painting a year-to-date high of $12,450. Even though it has plummeted back below 10,000 and dipped below that line a couple times, it is maintaining it. As of writing it, this article, Bitcoin struggles to remain in the 5-digit territory. I do absolutely agree with that. But there's a lot going on. Good old Lark Davis, also known as the Crypto Lark. He's a YouTuber and analyst. He's pretty popular among people. I've watched a few of his videos. He's an interesting dude. Check him out if you haven't. He noted that this price dive is somewhat expected in bull runs. Again, he brought out the 20-week moving average for his reasoning. Bitcoin has tested this average on multiple occasions from the start of the last bull run in 2017 to its peak in December, and he categorized those events as the point of max gains. This analyst highlighted the importance of remaining above the 20-week moving average. When Bitcoin's price fell below it after the bubble burst in 2018, the market went into its year-long bear movement. This culminated in Bitcoin's 2018 of $3,100, which was only a year after his peak. Since then, the relationship of Bitcoin and its 20-week moving average saw its fair share of reversals before Bitcoin reclaimed higher ground after the third halving back in May. By charting the massive red candle this past week, it actually tested this 20-week moving average once again. If it is to repeat its 2017 behavior, this dump can turn out to be another opportunity for maximum gains, which I know is what all of us are hoping for. I could really go for a massive moonshot bull run, but with the economy as it is right now, I'm worried that it's not as likely as many of us think. But that will end things for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, you made it to the end of this video, you might as well get to hear me talk every day. Isn't that something? But to finish things off, I will look at the top 10 coins by market cap. Everything is red with the exception of Binance Coin. That good enough for you? It's up 2.64%. Ethereum's down almost 5, XRP's down 2, Bitcoin Cash down 2.5, Chainlink's down 5.5, Polkadot's down 6.5. It's just the hits keep coming and they don't stop coming. Everything just needs to maintain its price levels, fight against this weird current of instability we've had. I know the stock market has not been doing its best either, so it's definitely one of those things where we're all just trying to weather the storm, and we all have Corona to thank for it. But as always, take a peek down in the description, check out the link or the links to the articles discussed depending on where you find it. And again, my name is John. Appreciate you listening, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.